So we had the PS5 update, or the PlayStation 4 update for PS5 is 8.0. And in that, it had everyone agree to being okay with having your voice recorded. And this seemed to confuse and frustrate a lot of people. And then it turns out that the idea was that if you were in a call with a PS5 owner, that they now have a new way that they can essentially have proof of harassment, or I guess what could we report people on for the 360? I feel like it was mostly harassment, bad language, because like if you would report somebody on the 360, it'd come with like another section that's like pick any of these things, and a lot of times people would just use it to report people that beat them really badly in Halo or Call of Duty or something at times, and it would work. You might get a 24-hour ban for beating somebody bad enough, like in terms of the game, never saying a word.
One of the options on Xbox 360 was bullying, and the subsection say what was the problem, and you could actually put skill level too high. You can say they're too good.
The idea was that they can record. It looks to be up to a minute. I believe it records like 5 minutes. But you can record up to a minute. You have like 40 seconds in the middle, then 10 seconds on either side. I assume where you can tell the person who's going to review it what's going on exactly in the call. So it appears that this is a way for them to have proof of some sort of issue or breaking of terms of service when it comes to communication. But it seemed to frustrate a lot of people because it is you being recorded. What do you guys think about the idea of voice recordings in these games that can be sent and reported to try to, I guess, mitigate overall harassment online? Do you think that'll actually help? Like, I think people will all of a sudden be like, oh, wait, I could be recorded right now.
I think that this service is only as good as the enforcement, if that makes sense. Like if they're not actually going to do anything about it, or if they get flooded with a whole bunch of spam or troll submissions, like maybe the service isn't as effective as it needs to be.
My feeling, the next level troll is going to be to try to bait people into saying something that you can then send off as a recording.
Well, I mean, if you get baited into saying something, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of on you. But for me personally. I think that for me in my specific position and like who I am and when I play games, I'm not necessarily greeted with the kindest people, online, and it's the internet and it's just video games. But, there are some people who do take it too far, so I think if there's, that possibility, if they are going to enforce it, maybe it will, maybe it won't, and encourage people to kind of, not be a trash human being to other people, so I don't know. I'm kind of like also like, oh, it's video games, like do we really need to police people? But also at the same time, I feel like with the way that the internet has been recently, it is kind of like every now and then a little
as long as they make it Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what about the privacy aspect of it? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of listening. It's
true.
It's like
but
a
here's
phone
the thing.
or
Everything's
an Alexa.
listening.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, it's not really any different from pretty much any modern tech that you own in your house that is, has some smart feature associated to it. But it's just another device that I guess is kind of just sitting in the background, listening or waiting for you to say something.
Because the microphone is right on your controller.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have two microphones on the controller. One's on the bottom for noise cancellation, so it listens to the ambient noise in your room and cancels that out. And the top one is pointing at you. So basically, whenever you're holding the controller, you always have a microphone pointing directly at you. So it does make you wonder, beyond just being in a voice chat room, you can mute it by pressing the button.
Yeah, you can disable the mics, can't you?
Okay, so
quote unquote, right?
Yes.
Like
okay,
people can turn your webcam on without the little light coming on. The mic's probably.
That's why people put like the stuff over the webcam. Yeah. I'm sure that I will say. Yes. Hey,
nice. 100%.
I will say
everybody's good but me. Damn.
I will say you could, of course, quote unquote, mute it, but you never really know with that because it's just a little light that comes on and it's like, I think I'm good now.
Just do that when you do the tear down, John. Just let us know what we need to take out.
Right? Yeah.
I bet you could rip the microphone out. I bet you can.
Yeah, probably.
Can I just put putty in there?
You could probably make a video about that and I'd get so many views.
I might do that. I'd be like,
that's a great idea.
If it still boots. When like if the controller still works, that's the thing, I have to verify that it still works. But if it still is connected with the microphones out, I bet you it's not difficult to do because the first one you can get to right away when the back comes off. It's just the second one. So maybe I will do a video on that. That'd be interesting to do that.
So my thoughts on this is that I have some hopes. I'm suspicious of it. It's a little bit weird. Right. My hope is that this takes out the super toxic 1%, because we have to realize 90% of gamers are normal. Some people are jerks here and there, but there is this awful group at the top that says racial slurs and rape threats like every single game, and I'm hoping that we can just cut off that top 1% of absolute scummy jerkbags. Like if there's an easy report system, we just take out the people that only play games to ruin other people's experience.
So my thing was always, as long as there is an easy way for me to mute the person, I usually didn't care. Because what happened was in Halo, I think in 2 it wasn't very easy to mute people, but in 3 they added the ability to just hold down the back button on the 360 controller, and you can scroll down the scoreboard. You press A on their name, and you immediately go to mute. And it was very, very easy. And I would do that a lot. I'd be like, "Oh, all right, this person is just
stream drop.
Oh, yeah.
This person
Comcast
is just blasting music." Or they do the voice modulator. I'm like, "Oh, all right, I'm muting this person. They're probably not going to help me anyway this match." So that's mostly what I would do there. What do you think about this, OJ? I think this will mitigate some of the kindness on there.
I was doing a little light trolling on Twitter, like, good, like now you guys can't say, like, you guys aren't gonna, won't be able to say all this stuff. To be honest, man, I mean, I think it might help, but I mean, it's still, it depends. Like I agree with what Click was saying. Like it depends on like the tools and what they use. Like, is there going to be trolls? Like, the mute feature is probably the best thing. Either mute or simply don't play online like I do. Like, don't play with people you don't know. We have a whole different communities now, right? You can do Discord. You can find people that aren't going to be idiots. There's all sorts of ways to find good people to play with. And that's kind of how I built my whole community that I play games with now. Because before there was a long period of time where I didn't play anything. So I don't know if Sony needs to actually, chat police people like this. I'm not sure if I'm on board with that. I just think make it to where you can mute people and fast enough. But if there are some people that need to be, like, if you can get some people being racist or some people being douchebag or whatever the case is, then yeah, I think it's good as long as it works correctly. So I'm hoping that it actually works correctly. But yeah, I would have loved to have this feature 10, 11 years ago when I was playing Resident Evil 5 online,
I'm kind of hoping it also stops with some of there were a lot of false reports back on the 360, like I mentioned, because I feel like if you go to report somebody, it immediately goes, okay, what did they say in the last 10 minutes or something? Because we've of course been recording this whole time, but what did they say? So like, I'm hoping that means that if you report somebody for something like that, you have to provide some sort of proof at times. Because I'm telling you, there were times where we were playing, like, we didn't even have microphones in, and like one of my friends would get banned, and it's because we won 50 to like 6 or something. And it's like, how did this happen?
That's bullying. That's bullying.
Proof would be good. Yeah, like if you report somebody, I think you'd have to have proof. Is there any, like, you have to start the recording first, or does it record stuff that it already?
It's apparently just always recording. So
that's what it seems like.
It's kind of like the replay feature, or like the Xbox
Switch,
record
right?
that thing, or Switch just has things like, it's always recording stuff. Apparently, is the way it is.
Okay, then if that's the case, then I think people will definitely be a little bit better. I missed that little point. If that is the case, then people will definitely be a little bit on better behavior, because they have to be, because if they say something stupid, it's got you. It's not like, oh, well, you didn't get me, or whatever the case is, or I was streaming and you had to catch the person streaming or whatever, because there's been times where I've been playing a game, even back when I used to play Uncharted, which wasn't too bad. There was some stuff here and there. It wasn't too bad. But people would say something, I couldn't catch them. I was just like, whatever, who cares?
Like Miss Click said, it does come down to the policing. Like, it's how they
the actual
respond
enforcement
to
of it. Yeah.
You can always send it in, and they could just be like, this person's gonna buy games, let's not ban them. Like,
also, what's that queue gonna look like when they build up to 100 million systems again?
No, my goodness, I don't know. Because there are gonna be some people. There's some people with like really thin skin, like like people who are listening right now. Like, we're not saying like any little thing, it should be reportable. Like, this isn't like we want to like go to the cops, the PS5 cops for everything. It's more the fact of like they were saying, Max was saying like the top like 1%, but. I think that genuinely, like, there are going to be a lot of people who have really thin skin. They're going to report things that aren't reportable, like necessarily, like they're going to be crappy, but not really bad. And I'm more curious, how they build that infrastructure to handle and filter all the different reports, and how, like, if it's going to get backed up, if they're going to actually like shut down the service in general. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how long it could end up lasting for. Yeah,
these people buy games too. That's the thing. So.
Yeah, that's not a good point.
Especially now. I mean, now online's even more people, like, that's where a lot of the revenue comes from, is from online gaming, is from memberships. So like, you got to be careful if you're banning these people. you got to be careful. I mean, they might just jump ship. You know what I'm saying? Go to somewhere else and buy their games. So
I like that idea though. Maybe I will do a video on removing your microphones.
Yeah.
Replace it with
See if
something
it
that just
still
plays
works.
elevator music nonstop. It'd be good.
The PlayStation 5 is always listening unless you do this.
I'm telling you.
We'll call it
Have you
paranoia.
holding the
We'll call
mic?
it paranoia wave. It'll be great.
Well, I think because the controllers are going to go on sale early is what the word is. And I saw Austin Evans unbox one, and it at least had the microphone working with the PS4, so I could actually test it with that.
Oh my god! So I'm like, hey, I just finished watching 5 seasons of Mr. Robots, and today we're going to be uninstalling the microphone.